Hey guys, happy, what day is it? Thursday. Um, don't even know what day we're on. So tonight we're gonna
Hey
be
guys.
talking happy, what day is it? Thursday. Okay. I hit mute, but it didn't take it. Okay. So tonight we've got Bree Tanner with us. She is going to talk all things fitness and how it kind of ties in with the nutrition, how they go hand in hand, really. And so Bree is a personal trainer and health coach. She has a bachelor's in nutrition from Texas A&M. She originally had hopes of going to pharmacy school to help others get and stay healthy, but she ended up becoming a health coach. She realized that was more where she could really help people get healthy and stay healthy. So, Bree, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, I am excited for tonight. So I'm going to share a little bit about me and then I'm going to jump into a few little things, but I want this to be where you guys don't have to wait till the end to ask questions. So utilize the chat. I know that I gave her permission. Interrupt me if we need more detail on something, or if she's like, okay, girl, we got enough detail. Let's go. Because I want to make sure that we do some fun stuff with this, talking about athletes of all levels, how to really fuel your best performance using your best nutrition, combated with what other things you can do with fitness and having fun with that. So, a little bit about me. I grew up in this healthy living community, which is a huge blessing. I did not realize how lucky I was to be surrounded by healthcare professionals, other people who just were putting others' health first around me. This is a powerful, positive community. And I've been around it since I was 6. So I grew up thinking that we were normal, that the healthy people that, go to the doctor once a year for your sports physical, you don't go to the doctor other than that, you're never sick, you don't miss school. That was my normal. That's what my brothers and I experienced. And for all the way through elementary school, middle school, high school, like I said, everybody we were around from this community, that's how that was. I thought that the kids at sick were odd. I thought they were the odd ones. I used to joke with my parents all the time, like, can I just pretend I'm sick and we can just like lay around and watch TV? All my friends used to do that because they were actually sick. So my parents actually started taking us out for well days because we were never calling in sick because we just weren't sick. My brothers and I were all athletes. Our coaches loved us because as a result, if you don't get sick, you don't miss school. We all made really good grades. So we never missed games. We never missed practices. And if we did get hurt, we recovered really quickly. We just always really kept up. So, like I said, that was my normal. I thought that's how I was. Go off to college and tell my mom, I don't really want anything to do with this community. I think they're a little weird. I'm just not sure that I want to continue utilizing the products that this company has I've been using for all these years. I'm healthy. I don't need it, right? It also came about the time my parents told me I had to start paying for my product. So y'all probably know how that goes. All of a sudden I didn't have enough money for it. I was on all academic scholarships and that, $50 a month was too much for me. But very quickly I learned what this was doing for me. I was just playing intramurals in college at that point, but was covered. My entire face, my arms, my chest, my back was covered in really severe cystic acne for the first time in my life. I started not to be able to sleep through the night. I was not finishing first on the field in my intramurals, and I'm a little competitive. So that was hard for me. And I just couldn't figure out what had changed. It was not this healthy living community. It was not anything that my mom and dad were telling me, but realistically, nothing else in my life had changed. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, what changed? What changed? So I started learning about what I'm eating and how important that is. I was also studying nutrition at the time. So the more classes I was taking, I was learning about how powerful plants are and how powerful your lifestyle is. So flash forward like maybe a couple months, I had now spent more time in the doctor's office, more money at the doctor's office, dermatologist appointments, everything. Nobody could figure out anything to do with my skin. I was on antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic. Now that I've learned what that did to my gut, I'm not glad I did all of that, but that was what you were told to do. Food was just too simple. That wouldn't have been the solution for me. I thought it had to have been something more complicated. So I call my mom back and I tell her, okay, maybe all that stuff you were teaching me in that healthy living community actually had some weight to it. Maybe that was something about it. Got started back on with these products, and my life has been back to normal, where I'm getting, occasionally I have these breakouts, typically around my cycle. But as a result, what I was learning in my nutrition classes, the results I had coming back into this community with open arms, people just welcomed me back. Okay, I'm glad you're back, and then also sharing these products and health tips with friends and family. I started to realize how important this is. That's what then kind of really changed my life. I still kept going towards pharmacy school. I wanted a career that I could financially afford a really nice life. I wanted a career that I could have some freedom with my finances, freedom with my time, and do all of that. And I had no idea I could do that with something like this. So whether this is something that you're just here to learn about the fitness and nutrition and how they combine, or you're here to learn about how to really change your life and take control back, I'm excited to share a little bit. So first, I want some show of hands because I know we don't have any faces on, but if someone wants to let me know who thinks they're an athlete on this call. Not many people are going to raise their hand on this. So I looked up the definition of an athlete. It is someone who is proficient in sports or other forms of physical exercise. So a little bit broad, right? It's someone who's trained or skilled in exercises, sports, or games requiring physical strength, agility, or stamina. Okay, that still fits the kind of idea of what we think of an athlete is. The third definition is has natural or acquired traits for physical exercise or sports. So as I started looking into what technically defines an athlete, I realized that this can be someone from the mom to someone to the little toddler who's playing kickball. This could be someone who is the Olympic athlete really going into this. And every athlete has the same basic needs. We're going to get into a little bit more on each of these, but the basic needs that every athlete has, you've got to get a certain amount of sleep. That's going to vary based on your age. It's going to vary based on your gender, but most people fall in that 7 to 9 hour range. You've got to give your body time to rest and recover. That's also a huge, crucial time that your body is using to detox a lot of stuff out. So if you're following a really hard, strenuous workout plan and you are not getting above 6 hours of sleep, I hate to break it to you, but that is not going to do your body any good. I would rather you get an extra hour of sleep than hit the gym tomorrow because it's going to be so, so crucial. Stress and all of that can really, really like throw you off your goals. So sleep has got to be a priority. Most athletes are really particular about their sleep. They go to sleep on time because they get up for those early morning workouts, or they're doing the late workouts and they're making sure they're going to bed as soon after and sleeping in a little bit because that is really crucial for them. The other thing that most athletes know is, I saw Feather lift hers earlier, hydration. You've got to be drinking plenty of water. So kind of a baseline that we tell everybody is 60 to 80 ounces is minimum, bare minimum what your body needs. If you're drinking sugary beverages or caffeinated beverages after that, I would love to see you drink twice that. My next rule of thumb for people is my goal for everyone when I'm training them is half your body weight in ounces. So that can help you determine specifically where you are. For most people, that puts them between 80 to 120 ounces. When you get closer to that gallon line, I don't necessarily love people to be drinking like 2 gallons of water because you can deplete a lot of your nutrients, but I do want people to make sure that they're well hydrated. That's going to help your skin. That's going to help your brain function. That's going to help your gut function. It's going to help your muscles. Also helps you regulate your temperature, which makes sure that you can then exercise more efficiently. You don't have to worry about that as much when it's really, really hot outside or really, really cold. The other thing that most athletes know is you need to have a plan. You need to have a routine in place that you know what you're doing. You know how many days you're exercising. You're not just aimlessly walking into a gym thinking, what am I going to do today? Right? Most athletes are going to have a game plan, whether they've gotten that from a trainer, they've looked it up online, they're part of a program, they've got a good warm-up system, they've got a good exercise plan and routine, and that's all laid out. So they always know exactly what they're doing on each day. The next thing that most athletes know is consistency, right? You've probably heard consistency over intensity. That is how you're going to reach your goals. If you're someone who is really just shooting for like one really hard, like 3-hour workout once a week, how effective do you think that's going to be? You're going to be real sore at least the next day. You might notice some results, But the person who's showing up for 30 minutes every day at a less intense workout, that person's going to see better results than you because they have the consistency every single day. So the consistency is going to pour into all of those. You're going to have to be consistent with how much water you're drinking, consistent with how much sleep you're getting, consistent with that routine you're doing. And then finally, the most important thing that every athlete needs to really focus on is their nutrition. And you have to be consistent with that as well. So you want to make sure you've got clean diet with the food you're eating, the drinks you're drinking, all of that. So in the comments, or if you're watching this replay later, I want you to give me a guess at how many servings you think an athlete needs of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables every day. This is going to be the athlete for, like I said, the young kiddo, the mom athlete, the Olympic athlete. How many do you think they need? Okay, we got to guess 9 to 13, 17 or more. Yes. And if y'all are watching the replay, keep guessing because I'm going to give you a pause for a second. So every athlete, general health, they are saying, now this is, I would put a little bit higher, but they're saying for just general health, say you've met your health goals, you're just looking to maintain that. They're looking at 7 servings of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. If you're someone who's involved in fitness, you occasionally move your body, you're not necessarily an athlete, but you like to go for a walk every day, maybe you're focusing on your movement, they bump that up to 9. Now, if you're someone who is athletic, meaning you've got more than 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week or more, that's when they're going to bump you up to 12 plus servings of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables every single day. A variety, not 12 of tomatoes consisting of ketchup, right? Like they want 12 plus different servings of fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. So this is something that I really love to go through. So real quick, does anybody know what a serving looks like? Give me your guess on, do you think a serving of a fruit and a vegetable are the same? Do you think it depends if they're frozen, fresh, dried? Yes, there's so many different things. So fruit, typically, you can go by like the size of your fist. A lot of things you can measure by your hand because then that's going to be how much your body needs. So a serving of fresh fruit is typically about the size of your fist. The serving of a fresh vegetables is typically about a cup. So it's usually a little bit more, but depending on your size, maybe a little bit more there. And then if you do frozen or canned, it halves that. It puts it in about half a cup coming in. If it's dried, because all of that's come out, you're going to notice it drops it even more. It's down to a quarter of a cup. So that is going to be something that they typically recommend. They don't want to see you eating 12 plants and 1 meal. They want you to be consistently eating them throughout the day. So utilizing some at breakfast, some at lunch, some at a snack, and some at dinner to really make sure that you hit your goals. So if you're someone who's shooting for maybe you eat 2 right now, try just making sure there's 1 at every meal. If you're someone who's already consuming 5 or 6, try bumping it where you have 3 at every single meal, giving yourself plenty of opportunity to slowly increase your content of what you're doing with your fruits and vegetables. So what's the problem with most athletes and how many fruits and vegetables we eat? Y'all, sadly, 90% of people don't even eat 5. I'm over here telling you, you need 12. And 90% of the population doesn't even eat 5. So that is where we have this gap of what we should be eating, what we are eating, and we know that difference. We know there's a gap. And so we're trying to figure out what comes in between. That is where this healthy living community came in for me. They were able to help me bridge that gap with these products. It's just fresh, raw fruits and vegetables with the Juice Plus products. And that has been a game changer for me. So remember how I said it's the size of a fist if it's fresh, it's about half a cup if it's frozen or canned, and it's about a quarter of a cup if it's dried. So why do you think that that makes a difference if it's dried or if it's fresh? What do you think's coming out of that maybe doesn't matter? That water you got to be drinking anyway is what's coming out of it. So as we take that water out, it's going to decrease the nutrients needed as long as they're doing it correctly. So if we want to make sure to find a company that's taking the time to really look through, their plant powders are becoming more and more popular in today's world. I think that we're realizing that vitamins and those sports drinks and lots of these things that we've been told for years are really, really helpful, we're starting to realize they're not really cutting it anymore. We're not getting the results. They maybe don't have the research that some of these other products are. Nature is always best. So at the end of it, keep it simple. Break it back down to the very basics and break it back down to something your body knows what to do with. So that's where plant powders are coming in. And that's where, if you are familiar with the Juice Plus products, you're already going to know what I'm talking about with these things. If you're not, I'm going to welcome you to the world's best, the #1 research nutraceutical product in the world. This is something that they have taken that water out. They put it in a capsule or a gummy for you. Makes it real easy. That's why I don't know why my 18-year-old self quit taking it, but I did. And it makes it super simple. They also have shakes and bars, which are really helpful for an athlete. A lot of times when I'm working with my athletes, they might be consuming the calories they need, but they're not consuming the macro breakdown that they actually need. They're not consuming the micronutrients that they actually need. So there's going to be something that they're missing on that. So who here knows what a macro even is? Give me a raise of hands. If I told you what a macronutrient is. Okay. Yes. So we've got our fats, we've got our carbs, and we've got our protein. A lot of people don't realize your protein can come from plants. Most of us, especially if you're here in the South, think that it comes from a steak and the carbs come from that potato and the fat comes from all the stuff you put on the potato. And that is a full meal and you don't need anything else. Okay. I'm about to blow your mind that plants have tons of protein. You just have to know which ones. That's why those vegetarians, they aren't completely lost, right? They know what they're doing, but you're able to consume a good amount of protein. So that's where I love, like, our shakes are all vegan. They're all real clean products. They're all plant-based, just like the capsules and the gummies I was talking about earlier, to help you fit in that need. As athletes are getting in more active, as they're doing more on the field, on the court, wherever they're doing that, they're going to have a higher protein count than someone who's not an athlete. And so that's going to be something that you're going to combat that with your meals. So I know that Feather has done a handful of these too. So I'll probably ask her to share some of her favorites, but I love shakes. But some people are not shake people. I drink a shake pretty much every morning for breakfast because I'm lazy and I don't want to make breakfast. Very rarely do I actually get up and make breakfast. When I do, I go all out and I make a whole thing. But 6 days out of the week, you can guarantee I'm going to drink a shake that is loaded with healthy carbs from more plants. It's loaded with plant-based protein, and it's got some good healthy fats with all the omegas to really help my brain and my joints stay nice and healthy. So that's something I love to have. But if you're not a shake person, you can make edible cookie dough. That's another one of my favorites for a little dessert. You can make these little energy bites, granola bars, pancakes. There's so much stuff that you can do. So that's where I love that our protein powder comes as a powder, not pre-mixed. So you have the flexibility if you're not a shake person and you want that plant-based protein, you need that for your kiddo because he's, 5 years old and just learning how to play baseball, and he needs the energy to make it through that game. And you don't want to stop and get a donut because he's going to crash in the second inning and his coach is not going to like that, right? Or maybe you're sending your high school kid off and you want to make sure that they can actually concentrate in third period. Because if you give them a bowl of cereal or a bowl of oatmeal, they're done. They're done by first period because those quick carbs are gone. So we need to have some good plant-based protein. So this is where I could just talk and talk and talk, but this is where my heart is with this, especially with athletes. So I actually deferred my acceptance for pharmacy school when I got accepted, going back to my story to kind of wrap this up. And I really thought, I have worked so hard for this. I came home, I was having a minor heart attack. If you know my family, you know that everybody has a degree. If you have a bachelor's, that's cute because everybody has more. And I had got accepted to pharmacy school. I had sold my truck and bought a gas efficient car, picked out my apartment, bought all my books. And all of a sudden I was thinking, I don't want to go. Like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Having a minor heart attack, trying to talk to my parents and tell them, how am I going to break the news that I'm going to turn down the program I got accepted to as one of my dream programs, MBA and my PharmD. It's been hard, it's been so worth it. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do this. And I'm thinking I want to sell these little capsules instead. Like my parents are going to think I've lost it. And I remember coming and telling them, like I've actually seen this helping so many families. I don't have to go to 4 more years of school to help people. I don't have to go into all this student debt to have the opportunity to help people and have the lifestyle I want. Luckily, my mom I think she's on this call tonight, so she might pop in, but I think she thought, oh no, I've ruined my daughter's future. But I am so glad I did it. I'm obviously still friends with all my friends that went through pharmacy school, my roommates that I was supposed to live with that first year. I did defer my acceptance for the year just in case I changed my mind. Worked in, got a real job and everything there, and just started really sharing this. And it was just more and more families. I mean, I have so many people, whether they're athletes or not, that were getting off their asthma medication. They were getting off their prescription medication. They were stepping away from things that their doctors told them there was no way that they would ever have a normal life. Remember that normal I had when I grew up? That was becoming real for them. And there was no way I was going back to pharmacy school. So it's fun. I've met some pharmacists now through the Juice Plus community, and they tell me every single time, every single one of them says the same sentence. If I had known what I know now before I went to school, I wouldn't have gone to school. Every single one of them told me, but they learned about it after or while they were in school. They were already committed. I was lucky enough that I knew about it before. And so then went on, my undergrad is in nutrition. So I just have that little bachelor's in nutrition, and went on to become a certified personal trainer. So I do train specifically women online, and I have a couple ladies that we do like a small group in person as well. But I absolutely love working with women because you can go so much more into detail for another call with all the hormones and everything and how you can regulate that with your workouts. But if you are an athlete on this call, you're a mom or a dad of an athlete, a brother of an athlete, sister of an athlete, you've got to make sure you're getting back to the basics with your water, your sleep, and your nutrition. Those are the basics you've got to make sure you're getting down. Otherwise, you will not continue to see results much longer with your sports.
Well, that was amazing. I would give anything to have been a fly on the wall to see your mom and dad's face when you said that. I mean, I know how proud they are now of all that you have accomplished with your Juice Plus business, but I can just imagine them being like, what? No. That was hilarious. So we have a question from Facebook. Olivia wants to know, how many servings of Juice Plus do you take per day?
So I do either 1 or 1.5. If I'm getting sick right now, I've got this little tickle in my throat and I cannot figure out what it is. So I've been doubling up. Anytime I start a new training program, or I'm like noticing I'm really stressed with life or anything has changed, I always double up. At minimum, I take the quad every single day. I personally do the capsules. It just helps me stay accountable. I love to eat the gummies. So I probably eat more often, more servings, because I do admit my husband gets the gummies and I snack on them often. But I do 1 to 2 servings of the quad.
Um, so I do a double serving of the quad every day. Sorry, my husband was coming in and out. And then I keep these are the berry chews. These stay on my desk. And then I also buy I have 2 orders of berry capsules.
Mhm.
So anytime we're feeling run down or like traveling and I know that I'm not going to get enough sleep, I take at minimum an extra 10 berry capsules a day. They
Yep.
always go with me when my husband, he's about to be driving to Colorado in the morning. So I'm sending extra berries with him just because I know, when you travel, you don't eat right. You don't get enough sleep. When we go to South Dakota, I'm probably going to get more exercise on that trip than I do normally because, you got to go see and do all the things. That's a lot of walking. But yeah, so to rule of thumb is what I've always heard is take as much as you can afford.
Mhm.
So you can't overdose.
Yeah.
When I'm sick, sometimes I've been known to take 4 servings in a day if I'm feeling sick. I know when I got the fun C word, I was taking it 4. I was a quadruple serving a day plus 10 to 20 berries a day extra just to knock it out of my system. And then I went and got dehydrated, which that's a whole nother story, but
And I think it just depends on like what season you're in for sure. A lot of the athletes I know double and triple because of where they are in their training schedules, how intense their workouts are. I mean, I feel like I don't work out a ton, but it's all comparable, right? So I do a morning mile every morning. That is one of the first things I have any of my people who are aspiring to be an athlete. I will recommend get outside and do some morning movement, whether that's 5 minutes or building up to a mile. You know, I take my dogs for a walk every morning. We do a morning mile. And so sometimes it turns into 3 miles, sometimes it's just 1, but just depending on the temperature and how much time I have in the morning. And then I work out 4 or 5 times a week. I do weightlifting. That's what I personally love, just for the benefits of that. But if you are a more strenuous athlete or you are in a season of adolescence or puberty where there's just a lot changing anyway, I would recommend more.
so for a beginner, how many days would you recommend starting? Like, would you recommend they just stick with the morning, like a morning walk, say 30 minutes or whatever, for how long? And then what type of workout, how many per week, that kind of thing.
So I always recommend find something you enjoy. So if you enjoy walking, walking has so many health benefits for your entire body. So if I can get you outside walking for 5 minutes a day consistently, that's a huge win, because then you'll naturally find 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? You'll creep it up over time. And then if you enjoy Zumba, go to a Zumba class 3 times a week, 2 times a week, get in there, just get started. I love 3 days a week for a beginner. I think that that's manageable on a schedule. You can find places, if you have kiddos, you can find gyms that have childcare, and kids usually love to go play in those areas. But 3 days a week usually is really doable on a schedule. As people then move up from there, I then recommend, going to 4 or 5. For the people who just fall in love with it, you can do 5 or 6. I don't recommend 7 ever. I think even 6 is pushing it for most people because you need to rest and recover for some of those days, and some people can just really overdo it.
Nice. Okay, does anyone else have any questions for Bree? Not seeing any none in the chat. Okay. So thank you so much for doing this. I absolutely love when you join us and you share with us, y'all. I was feeling frustrated, and then I got on here and Bree hopped on. We got on early, and I was like ready to go run a marathon. I mean, she just, you talk about being around positive people, and positivity is so amazing for health, for self-care. And let me tell you, Bree, can I just stick you in my pocket and take you with me everywhere I go? She's gonna lift your spirits. But anyway, well, I hope everyone has a great week. We will be back next Thursday with facials using the quad capsules. They are not only good internally, but they are amazing for your skin. And so if that sounds like something you want to do, reach out to whoever sent you this video, whoever invited you, and they can get you a set of the capsules so that you're able to participate right along with us. So if anyone has any questions, you're watching the replay, just put them in the chat and we'll get answers for you. So hope everyone has a great evening, and we'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.